Hello, welcome back to HEMA Fight Breakdowns. Today I want to talk about a bread and butter move that anyone can and probably should use in their fencing. It's a cheeky little hand snipe from range, but I think I want to also piggyback this exchange off of a discussion of how to properly defend your hands with your crossguard, or in this case, how not to defend your hands. So we'll watch the clip, it's pretty short. And specifically, what I want to look at is, as always, footwork, setup, execution, and then possible defenses for this particular one. So basically, my opponent enters range with this lunge. This puts me on the defensive, and he feints basically by getting to this position and by coming from this plow. What he's feinting is that right overhow. He's feinting a cut from his right side to my hands, or at least to some part of me. I'm fairly out of range here, but I make one critical mistake. And what you're going to want to look at is what I do with my hands once I know that this cut is coming down. So as he switches sides and he throws the left overhow rather than the right overhow, you'll see me go up into a cron, but most importantly, I go into a cron with my bottom hand further forward than my top hand. This is a very critical mistake that you'll see even good people do. And it has a lot to do with the oftentimes incorrect assumption that someone with a committal like this is coming in high. It's a common thing that happens all the time. But what happens is that your crossguard can only defend you, especially if your tip is pointed up in the air, from things that are coming straight down on top of your hands. So the more you create an angle here, the further back your crossguard is, and the more there is a space here where a sword can come right down on a hand and never even touch the crossguard. Part of this is that we have big, bulky, spez heavy gloves on. It's an inevitability. That's okay, though, because at the end of the day, I think with a hand position like this, my hand was going to get hit regardless of whether I was wearing these gloves or no gloves at all. So what can be done about this? The first thing is that I am a big fan of the cron parry into Zverkows, but even I have a bad habit, as is clear here, with not putting my hands far enough forward. Now, it might seem a little counterintuitive, but the best way to defend your hands using your crossguard is to have your hands actually further forward and to have your tip a little bit lower. So if you want to imagine this position here was where the attack landed, my backhand is well below my front hand. My front hand is protected on each side by my crossguard. My tip is pointed a little bit up in the air. And what you want to imagine is that like this is the angle that cuts come in on, right? No cut comes straight down most of the time on anything. It comes in at a kind of 45-degree angle. This just has to do with the circular nature of how cuts are actually thrown. Your tip starts up here and then it rotates down in a big C. And that angle that you approach on is the angle you need to be pointed at with your tip. Because whatever angle your tip is pointed at, that's the angle that your crossguard is protecting you from. The second you move your sword either lower or in this case higher, the more you let this 45-degree angle of approach hit your hands rather than your crossguard. So what I would tell anyone to do in this situation, if you're getting hit all the time in the hands by those long-range hand snipes, leave your hands out a little bit, leave your tip forward a little bit, still take your same footwork, still go backwards. You can even pull your hands backwards if you have to, but make sure you're maintaining this angle. If you could take my hand position as it is now and just suck it back towards my chest, I would still be safe. It is specifically because I go into this kind of hands against my chest, low vom tog position that my hands get clipped instantly. All right, that's it for today. If you want to have your own footage featured on the channel, feel free to send me any at HEMAFightBreakdowns@gmail.com. And I hope to see you next time.